A pivotal moment in the U.S. today as the first COVID-19 vaccines were given there. With the prick of a needle, the worst-hit country in the world was given a dose of hope. An ICU nurse in New York was among the first to get the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. New York's governor calls it the weapon that will end the war. More than 300,000 Americans have already died from COVID-19, and thousands more are dying every day. Vaccines won't stop that immediately, of course, but as Jackson Proskow reports today, does mark the beginning of the end.
Those on the front lines are now first in line for the vaccine.
The hardest part by far has been watching people die alone.
In Ohio, healthcare workers were vaccinated en masse.
We need to trust the physicians and trust the scientists. That's why I volunteered to do this.
In New York, nurse Sandra Lindsay became the first person in her state to be inoculated.
I hope this marks the beginning to the end of a very painful time in our history.
But it is just the beginning. An unprecedented effort is now underway to manufacture and ship tens of millions of doses. In the U.S., FedEx and UPS have been tasked with delivering to every state. The precious cargo moves under guard of U.S. Marshals.
It's going to be hard to imagine this going off without a hitch, that there likely are unanticipated issues that are going to arise when you're shipping that many vaccine doses all around the country.
The hope is that up to 6 different vaccines will be available on a widespread basis by late spring, enough for every American who wants it.
By the end of the month of May or the middle of the month of June, we would have produced enough vaccines, doses to immunize the totality of the American population.
To get there, the U.S. will have to get through the worst days of the pandemic. The CDC estimates 2,000 to 3,000 deaths per day for the next 2 to 3 months. Models suggest the U.S. is on track to record 500,000 deaths by April 1st.
What do people need to keep in mind over the next few months?
Well, that number one, the vaccine is not going to appreciably impact our lived reality right now. This is the worst of it. And so people really need to keep their eye on the prize, vigilance, practicing everything we've been talking about, no travel, absolutely none.
That means that while an end is in sight, it's not here yet. But increasingly, Americans are willing to accept a vaccine as a way forward. A poll released today suggests that 80% say they're willing to get vaccinated, though half of that group says they'd prefer to wait a little while longer just to be sure it's safe. Donna?
All right, Jackson Proskow in Washington, thanks.